Alright, so we're checking out another portable power station. This is the GOOLOO GTX300. This is a pretty new one. Just came out recently on the market. Very small and compact. It's only a 300 watt inverter. Yeah, you can see here on the box it says 300 watts of output power, 299.52 watt hours of battery capacity, and it says it can charge to 80% in about 2 hours. So it is around 300 watt hours of capacity, so just to give you an idea of what it can charge and how long and how many times. Here's some examples of some things it could charge up. And of course it has all the standard built-in safety features here, like overcurrent protection, undervolt protection, overvolt protection, overcharge protection, etc. And here's everything that comes in the box. Get a manual, of course. You get your wall charger. This is the AC cord, and this plugs into the back. I'll show you that here in a second. USB-C to USB-C cable, and you have a car adapter. This also plugs in the back. The AC charger and the car adapter have a 7909 plug, so you can use this to charge up the power station inside your car. So this is a pretty light and compact portable power station. It's about 10 inches by 9 inches by 7 inches and only weighs about 8.8 pounds. So yeah, I can just easily lift it with one arm, no problem. And you can see the front here. We'll go over that here in a second. You have a exhaust fan on the left side. On the right side is just a vent to bring in fresh air. In the back here you have your 3 watt LED light, and I think you have standard modes here, so it's 50% power, 100% power. You got your strobe mode, SOS mode, and then off. And then here is how you charge up the power station here in the back. This is a 7909 DC input port, and you have an Anderson connection here for solar panels. So if you want to charge up the power station via solar panels, this Anderson port here is a 12 to 30 volt voltage range on this port, up to 120 watts. So a lot of your solar panels in that 150 watt range is going to be around 18 volts. So that's going to be perfect. You just have to find one with an Anderson connection. And they're saying roughly 5 to 6 hours to charge up this power station via the solar panel. And here's a look at the placard on the back with all the specs and power output and input. So you can see here, this is one of the largest screens I've ever seen on a power station. It's really clear and you can tell exactly what's going on. You get your battery capacity and a battery bar and a percentage, DC and AC sections. So you can turn that DC section on and off, which is basically the USB ports, and then the 12 volt cigarette lighter DC section, and then you have your AC section here. You can turn that on, just press the button. Turn the display off by just pressing the middle button right here, which is display. I'll turn the display on and off. Output and input powers, and also approximate time that the power station will take to either charge up or discharge based on the power load. You get your 2 AC ports here. 300 watts inverter can burst up to 600 watts for short periods of time, and it's 300 watts total across both ports. Alright, so this is the DC section, includes your 12 volt 10 amp cigarette lighter port. So this is going to work for most things camping related. You have your in and out USB-C power delivery at 60 watts. So this has the ability to also charge the power station via USB-C. So if you have a laptop charger or something like that can output 60 watts, this can take that and charge the power station and shorten the overall power or charging time. I'll explain that here in a second. Get your 5 volt 3 amp USB-C port. You have a quick charge 3.0 port and a regular USB-A 5 volt 2.4 amp USB-A port. And then you got these two 12 volt 5 amp. These are 5521 barrel connector ports. So if you have a device that can charge up via that DC at 12 volts and 5 amps, you can plug in there. So to sort of clarify the charging situation here, the power supply that's included here is a 24 volt 3.75 amp charger at 90 watts, and that plugs into the back. So when you use this by itself to charge up the power station, they are saying about 4 hours, maybe a little longer, to go from 0 to 100%. If you want to charge it faster, they have a optional, I think it's 100 watt or 150 watt power brick that you can get, but it's not included, and that will obviously charge up the power station faster. Additionally, you can charge up the power station plugging this into the wall at 90 watts in the back, and then you can also then plug in a USB-C power delivery power source at 60 watts, and that combined is 150 watts. And then they're saying it's about 2 hours at that rate to 80%, and then to 100% it's about 2.5 hours. And if you're wondering, you could probably pick up one of these like USB-C power bricks. This is like a laptop charger, and this one here will output 66 watts. So if you take something like this and then you plug that into the USB-C port there, and this together combined for 150 watts, you can charge up this power station in 2.5 hours from 0 to 100%. All right, so we're going to test out the 300 watt inverter on there. So this heat gun here is rated to 320 watts. This should be a good test in terms of whether or not it's going to trip if it goes a little over 300. So we just press this button here to turn on the AC section, and the fan should kick on at some point here. So we're drawing, well, it showed 12 watts briefly, but go ahead and turn this on. So you can see we're drawing 304 watts, and it shows a time of 0.7 hours at 77%, which sounds about right. Let it run for a little bit here, see how long it takes before it kicks off. But I don't think it should be fine, because it should go to 600 watts. But at a little over 300, it should be within the range of the inverter without it kicking off. Okay, so the heat gun test seemed to be totally fine. It didn't kick off by itself. I turned it off after a little bit of time. And you can hear, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but the fan for the inverter did kick on. That's totally normal. It's not terribly loud. It's definitely, you can hear it, but it's not super loud. And let me see if I can turn that fan off if I hit the AC button here, turn off the AC section. Yeah, so if you hit the button, that'll actually turn off the fan. So I guess if it's certain temperature, it'll kick on. Let me see if it turns back on if I turn the AC section back on. And the fan did not turn on. Okay. Anyway, overall, a pretty nice power station for this category. I guess you would call this sort of the entry level or budget category for these power stations. 300 watts, 300 watt hours of capacity. Price is pretty good. It's under $300 with a coupon. It's going to be a little bit over $200, I believe. It really kind of depends on when you click on the link. Prices vary all the time, and they play these games on Amazon with coupon codes. So I would say if you can get this, between $225 and $250, I think that's a pretty good value for this power station. If you can get it for less, that's even better. Anyway, it's going to cover for this video. Got any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.